The way I just space out. Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome in. Hope you're all having a lovely day today. Oh gosh, what's going on with this? Hello, hello. All right, now it's actually picking me up. 1 second. I will be turning on the camera in just a moment. Hello, Flippin'. Hello, hello. My gosh, what a Wednesday. No, what a Monday it's been. Oh my god, it's only Monday. Where's my hotkey? Oh gosh, it's already only Monday. And I've had such a day today. But it's okay. We're here for good things. Well, let me actually get the stupid camera on. Ah. Actually, I will just scooch. Hello, friends. Welcome, welcome in. It's me, Strixon. So, I woke up really early this morning to do laundry. I needed to get some laundry done. And it was fine, actually, mostly. I mean, everything was pretty normal until right at the end. My laundry detergent exploded all over my laundry bag and the basket. And the laundry was ready to go, get out of the dryer, and just the laundry detergent went everywhere. And then the lady at the place was like already frustrated, I guess, because of, I don't know, she was like mopping and people were walking through where she was mopping and she was really angry, and then she saw that I had made a mess And she was like, you need to get out of here. Like I was like, I need a paper towel to wipe this up so I can, And she gave me like the tiniest little square paper towel, and I spilled a whole lot. It was just a whole thing, my friends. But that is over. I got my laundry, I got out of there, I folded it at home. She seemed to think I did it on purpose, as if like I purposely spilled laundry all over my stuff. Like, no, I didn't. Yeah, thank you, Flippin'. I almost didn't stream today, but I said that I wanted to start streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I would like to try to keep to that, if I can at least. I was gonna stream earlier, but a lot of other stuff came up, and ugh. Cronenberg 13. Welcome in. Yes. I do not like having to use the laundromat. Unfortunately, the laundry place here at my apartment is basically unusable. I mean, like, it's almost always locked, and when it's not locked, I've gone in there and did laundry once, and my laundry came out smelling like fish. Oof. I'm happy you're streaming. Thanks for toughing it out. Well, we're doing something simple today. I have this bag of fake flowers that I bought forever ago, and I thought it'd be nice to, make another flower crown. Especially now that I know more about how to make a flower crown look good. Hey, Pendrak. Welcome in, my friend. What else do I have in here? So this is from a trip to a Michael's forever ago. So I also have other things like wrapped up in here. Oh, it's nice. Nice little jar. I don't remember buying any of this stuff. I remember buying the flowers, but I don't remember any of the other stuff that's in here. There's a lot of it. Ooh. Probably for a love spell, perhaps? One more thing. Oh! A candle stand? What do you call it? Candlestick. Well, you put a candlestick in there. Hold it up. Yeah, I remember buying that now. Anyways. If you guys remember, it takes a lot to... You have to, like, cut around it and then snap it to get these off. Yeah. What has been going on with y'all today's friends? Besides my horrid laundry mishap, I got a huge chunk of laundry done today, so that's nice. What do you think about black licorice? I don't like it. Don't think it's very tasty at all. Not my flavor. Chunk of laundry. I did get a chunk of laundry done. And you know what? I'm glad, because laundry doesn't get done very often around here. And so when it does get done, it's a cause to celebrate. Oh, come on. There we go. Flowers being stubborn. You know how it is. Watching people arrange flowers, it's relaxing to me. Oh. My grandmother was a florist. Wow, that's so cool. My grandmother... What does my grandmother do? I guess she edits photos. My grandpa's a photographer. And so they have a photography business together. And my grandma does a bulk of the editing. I mean, she's a retired florist. She yet lives. She's a feisty German woman. Ugh, I love that. Seeing the arrangements people comes up with is amazing. Aw. Yeah, it's just gonna be these and the tulips, like, together. I thought it'd be nice to have, like, a yellow, white, orange sort of flower crown. I wanted to do it, like, months ago, but, my brain, you know? But we're doing it now. Nothing wrong with being a little late. There we go. Very nice. Plucked. Now we have all these. I just kind of like bend them like this. You can kind of put them together, you know? Granted, I kind of want to get some of these intermixed in there, so I'm also wondering if I should hold off on making them until I cut up the other flowers. Oof. Thank God there's a lot of little tulip buds, because a lot of them fall off. Thankfully, these look much smaller and easier to cut. Not. Oh, there we go. One relaxing hobby I thought about trying to learn is woodworking. Like making little figurines. I imagine myself in a little cabin in New Zealand, living out the rest of my days, carving and sitting on a porch with my dog. That sounds so sweet. It actually sounds really nice. Oh. How idealistic. Man, where I want to move to, like, see, I feel like some of my dreams are a little unrealistic. I want to move to, like, a place where it's, like, cabin, off a little bit in the middle of the nowhere, but I still have Wi-Fi. Maybe by then I won't be so connected to the internet. But, yeah. I guess a lot of people kind of have the idea of, like, wanting to live, you know, with more space, more close, more connected to nature. I think it's really funny. So we're listening to this really nice, chill DMCA for lo-fi, and but the song that I have stuck in my head is from this band, kind of a band. I don't know if they're actually like a band or if it was just for the show, but there's a show on Peacock that me and my friends were watching called Lady Parts, or We Are Lady Parts, one of those titles. And it's about this like punk band of hijabi women, and it is so good. It is so good. There's this one song that all their songs are on Spotify, and this is one that is just in my head. It won't leave. It's called Voldemort Under My Headscarf. It is so good. I don't know if I can play it, unfortunately, just because I'm like, it's from a TV series, the music is, and I don't know if I would get DMCA striked for that. But if you ever want to go look it up, yeah. Lady Parts. Amazing punk. Very fun. Like bare tubeless heads. I can try to reattach. You know, maybe some of them just didn't have heads. That's okay. Like this one. This poor lone tulip. There's this one, but I don't think the colors are the same. You know what? Fuck it. You know, just so it's not all alone on there. And when so when I get all the flowers trimmed off, I'm probably going to separate them into piles based on their color. And then I'll go ahead and we'll start arranging. I do think it's funny when I bend out the flowers like this. Being cooperative. There we go. Gosh, the end of that one got all torn up. What other sorts of crafting stuff do you like doing? I mean, I do like coloring, which is something we do occasionally, but I haven't done it in a while. So like, you know, coloring books and stuff, I would pull out my document camera and we would just color. Specifically, I liked coloring from, it was like a Dungeons and Dragons coloring book, so it was always like, different monsters. Coloring. I used to do it all the time as a kid. It's really nice. You know, and I feel like there are coloring books for everybody's interests. You can just like go to a bookstore and go look through their adult coloring books and you can find like chill, zen ones. You can find like really pretty, intricate landscapes. You can find nerdy ones. Like there's one at the store I've been thinking of getting for a friend that's like Star Trek themed. Though it is first generation Star Trek, you know, like Kirk, Spock, that sort of thing. And my friend's favorite would be Deep Space Nine. I have a hard time slowing down my mind enough to do little things like that. I think it's a problem. I totally get you. Like, I feel like I don't do these, like quiet, calm things as often as I would like to. Like, reading, I feel like is another, like, really quiet thing that I would like to be doing more often, but I just feel like my brain just won't enter the state where it wants to be, like, chill like that. I don't know. I'm glad this is working out for me today, though. I think it also worked out because I was like, I don't want to play any games. I don't want to play Ghost Hunter's Core or Monster Hunter or Hunt or literally anything. Also, we got all the flowers. I'm just separating them by color. Well, it's really cool that you stream this stuff. It's super relaxing, like Pendrax said. Hey. And you're excited for the reading streams. Yes, those are going to be coming back. I wanted to do it this morning, but I promised a friend I would hang out during the day, and that ended up being like 11 a.m. And then I also needed to do all that laundry. I just had a busy morning, but I'm here now. And I'm going to try to be doing morning reading streams. Probably... I mean, I think I used to do 10 a.m., to... I'm thinking about like when my work schedules are normally thing. I listened to quite a bit of you reading The Lord of the Rings. Ah! You know, I've been wanting to go back to The Lord of the Rings. But I also... My biggest worry was I was worried that it was too... not very accessible, I guess, to folks. And I didn't want to be, like, inaccessible. I don't know if that even makes any sense. Just a lot of people were like, oh man, that's a lot of big words. And I felt bad, you know. I don't know. Would you ever go back to uploading those to YouTube? That's another thing. I think that would be a great idea, that I should do that. My only issue was, it's not really an issue, it was just that I wasn't remembering to download the streams and upload them. It just took a huge chunk of time, and then I just stopped doing it. I would like to, though. It's nice to be able to go look back and see what my streams used to look like, and then, you know, to see where they are now and how everything's changed. Okay, let's see what we can get in here. I'm starting with just bundling up a couple flowers. Give them a little more space. I think you can link your Twitch and YouTube and then just upload straight from Twitch. Can you? Because then I would absolutely just start uploading my reading streams again, rather than having to download and re-upload somewhere else, because that was a lot. And also, Ghost Bear 138, I will show Banksy to the people. One moment, where is that? Oh, he's right there. Oh my gosh. Wait, he's asleep. But we can remedy this. Give him a good thing. Oh, did you hear that? You heard? Here's Banksy. Here, real quick, baby. I'm gonna give you one treat, and I'm gonna put you right up to the camera, huh? Say hi. Look at him. A baby. Baby, say hi. He's like, not all you're old like me. Banksy. Come on, the one trick I expect you to use. Come on. Okay. Hey, Banksy. Up. He's a dumbass, okay? Hey, up. Don't worry about that. Come on, you know what you gotta do. If you want the treat, you gotta jump. Come on. There you go. There you go, baby. 2 treats, one more. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, I love you. It's like, alright, more of that. Thank you, beautiful streamer. It's me, I'm here. I'm the streamer. Baby, don't go showing your butthole. Oh my gosh, that's so obscene. Alright, where was I? Here's the thing I was working on. Okay, and so now people are probably wondering what the hell they used to bind it all together. Well, my good friends, NSFW! You little freak, you little nasty, hey! gonna go ahead. Start binding this. I'm using floral wire. And then after that, I'm gonna wrap it with floral tape to keep it from like poking my head. Can't even see the tulips. We just kind of have them poke out like that. It'll look good. I have to lurk, but I'll try to be back to see the crown. Progress will be made. It'll happen. Oh, that's why you have to lurk. Hey, have a good time playing Hunt Showdown. Oh, there goes my wire. Oh no! The head popped off. Back on there. I'm getting a little crazy with this. I gotta stop pulling on it. Trying to like tuck, like move and adjust the flowers so they sit nice, but maybe I'm worrying too much about it. Oh, you know what? That's a smart idea. So you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Best I can do. There is a bit of trash on my floor, so literally no one make fun of me. Oh, bling. Please. That's about as far down as I think I can angle it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, you're good. Go ahead. That works. Now you can at least see my hands working instead of just seeing my face concentrated. Yeah, just wrapping it with the wire, which the wire fell, so let's pick that up. Just trying to help you. No, you were being super helpful. Thank you. Sometimes I can be a little scatterbrained and not think about what's actually best. So I do appreciate the, hey, this would help make your stream better. You know? Like if I'm in someone's stream and I can hardly hear them and like their audio is just all off, I usually try to like speak up about it. I'm like, hey, I can barely hear you. You know, it might be nice if you fix the audio, that sort of thing. the end of it. Got a line going. Stream sound? Yes. As in, yes, the stream sounds good, or just yes, you should help people when their stream sounds not great. Your is good. Yes, I speak up too. It's good to do. I think especially with sound, I think just because like typically the streamer isn't really able to exactly hear how the sound is working on their stream unless they like open up their stream and wait and listen. Unless there's a better way to do that, I don't know. But oh, also, one thing I'm doing, I'm trying to pluck out the leaves so they don't get squished. My spelling might get better on a new keyboard. No worries. This is a hanging out, chill place. It doesn't matter if your spelling is a little off. Hope I actually took the sticker off, huh? These stickers. Losing little heads. I might want to go through and like glue them down. Pointing the same way as when it goes on your head. Nope. Alright. I keep dropping the wire. I mean, I guess these things, they happen, though. By the way, we got it working down this way. I'm gonna have to take my headphones off to actually test this out, see where we're lying. Kind of stretching it out a little bit. Tip the wire. And then I'm gonna start a new bit of wire, and then I'm gonna use it to connect here. Here-ish. Oh, that's not good. That's bad. Oh, that's bad. Okay. What's going on here? Yeah. Oop, failed. Whew. I will say my method of flower crowning is not like the way, it's just the way I do it, which is clumsy and sometimes bad, and that's okay. I didn't get flicked in the face with wire, you got flicked in the face with wire. Twisting these wires together to hold this together. Wrap it around the flowers. She's always gonna... It's hard to see anything, honestly, with this sort of thing. I will go back with a glue stick, some like super glue or something, and I will super glue these on because they keep falling off. Hey, Banksy. Hey, Brian. What are we making today? We're making a flower crown. Gather your rosebuds, but while you may, old time is still flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. Well, these flowers for sure won't be dying. Because they are plastic. Thank you so much. You love the music in the background? Thank you. It's a new lo-fi track I found. Yes, Banksy is over there. He's cleaning his leg. You know how cats do. Robert Herrick hadn't heard of artificial flowers, apparently. Gosh, apparently. I want to read that again. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Old time is still flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. I like that. I like that a lot. That's so nice. So now for the metaphor. Oh, yeah. The poem is called To the Virgins Make Much of Time. Oh. Wow, I see. Yo, dudes, you only got so much time. Go get your dick wet. I read him loud and clear. Oh, you're going to attempt a 12-hour stream? Wow. I don't know how to respond, but if you do hit the donation goal, good luck. Yes, yes. You know, to be perfectly honest, though, at the end of the month, even if I don't hit the goal, I probably will still attempt to do a 12-hour stream. Probably, like, you know, an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. sort of thing. Could be fun. Never done one. Howard, stop getting caught. Voldemort's alive and he's under my headscarf. Y'all need to watch We Are Lady Parts. It is so good. But yeah, I am woefully low on funds after a bunch of unexpected expenditures. And so I was hoping maybe I could try to maybe get a little extra. Not get a little extra, but like raise a little extra to help with that. Provide an incentive. I mean, donations, I've recently turned on the text-to-speech. So if people donate, they can get their little message read out. I know people like that. Wire? This wire, I'm going to twist them together. Gosh, it's so hot in here. All right. Start bending this. Oh my god, Pendrak! 13 months! Oh my gosh. Let me actually put this on. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Will you lift the spirits for me? I'm doing my best. Let's lift each other's spirits, yeah? Thank you so much, Pendrak, for the resub. 13 months is amazing. I'm glad we've been friends for so long. We've been friends for longer than 13 months, though. It's been over 2 years now. I'll leave this here for you, then. Yeah, thank you for the emotes. I appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't subbed every month. I mean, that's fair enough. How dare you not spend money on me each and every month, Pendrak? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Remind me while I fan my face really quick so I don't melt. Alright. Bending. I'll be real careful with this. I fucked up last time and it went a little bad. We needed to have some emergency surgery. Okay, taking the wire, and I'm adding some extra reinforcement, which is really going to be a large chunk of it, just finding where it's weaker, you know, by trying it on and stretching it to right where I need it, and then adding more wire. And then once we're happy with it, I'm going to go over the wire bits with floral tape. Is this the correct way to do it? I don't know. What's correct in this day and age? If it will end with me with a flower crown, I think it's correct. Would I sell said flower crown? Probably not, because not as good as the one you can just, you know, buy from people who do this professionally, but enough for me to be happy. That's all I really need to impress myself. Let it look this way. Ooh. I like it. Oof. There definitely is a chunk of it that's much thicker than the other chunk. I don't think that's that bad. Twisted. Nope. Let's twist it the other way. I'm also trying to tie it really tight so that things don't really shift. Oh, there's so many sticking out parts. That's okay. We've got floral tape. It smells like a Halloween store, actually. That's so funny. Yeah, it smells like, you know, when you get like Halloween makeup, like special effects makeup. Oh. So one thing about floral tape is it's not really sticky until you start stretching it, and then it sticks very well to itself. So, people like using it to wrap fake flowers. And I always struggle with it, so this is gonna be fun. You can see I'm starting to wrap things up. You can see I am starting to go around. Wait, I'm being covered up by the sleeve. Yeah, you can see it better from this way. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are liking the flower crown. Oops. Didn't mean to rip the tape. That's okay. You kind of can just keep going. Just add it back. Wrap it around itself and keep going. Move over here. This is messy. You see how messy that is? Yikes. Wow. We'll fix that. I'm actually get my headphones on now so I can actually hear the music too. Hard time getting over it. Time for hunts. Ooh, have some fantastic hunts. Win lots of games, kill lots of assassins. Those assassins always get me. They're so mean to me. Yeah, the boss. I do mean the boss. good stream. Thank you. Have a lovely day, Ghost Bear. I hope you have some good hunts. I hope you have a nice Monday. I hope the rest of your week goes just as nice. I will say, the flowers falling apart is not very fun for me. Okay. This chunk over here might be a little hard to do, but that's okay. Which, show you the progress on how the tape's going. Taping around. Just gonna like rip off a chunk of tape. Maybe that'll help me. There we go. Use my eyeliner to pull it out so it doesn't get sticky on my fingers. It's getting sticky on everything! But, because another issue is you really do want to wrap it around just the stems. And, you know, to let the flowers be as free as possible. So obnoxious. So obnoxious! What the hell? Where did this fall off from? You? Coming together nicely. Thank you, Pendrak. I appreciate it. I need the ego boost. And every part of it does feel a little bit like you're fighting it. Hands are getting so sticky. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's just shedding all of the tulips. The tulips are just not nice flowers. Yeah, by the way, if people are curious what I'm doing, I just push it down with my thumb, reach through, grab it through here, and make a loop, and then I grab my instrument and I pull it through. That's what I've decided to do. Again, none of this is... I never learned this anywhere, I just started doing it like this. Where is this? Accidentally taped down a little bit of the yellow flower. Gotta fix that a bit. Here we go. Sticking. Alright, we have a serviceable flower crown. My hands are only insanely sticky. My hair. Oof. My hair could use a brush. Also, one moment while I put my face directly into the fan, because it is so hot! It's August! Why is it still hot? Let it cool down already. Oh, also, for those who are curious, I don't know if anyone remembers, but I lost the bubbles. We found them again. Bubble, 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 bubble. So fun. Get a good one going. Come on. You can do this. Yo, there we go. That's some bubblage, if you know what I mean. Oh, come on. What? It always looks so big when I do it. I'm always like flatten, flatten, flatten. But you know what? Maybe my headpieces are just big and beautiful, and that's what they want to be, and that's what I should just let them be. Granted, my makeup today is purple, so it doesn't quite go with the flower crown, but oh well. Oh. Okay. What would be a good idea for now? I still don't know if I want to be playing a game. Maybe we can do a little reading. Something small. Something easy. Sorry, one moment. I'm looking at my bookshelf. Is there anything on here that really grabs at the attention? There's something that you can kind of just pick up and kind of just read. See if there's anything in Hex Life. Hex Life, which is a compilation of witchy short stories. One moment. Oh, right. This might be good. Alright, let's quickly shift gears. We're in our title, Reading Witchy Stories to Lift the Spirits. I'll switch it over to, I guess, just chatting. Again, there's no, like, reading section, which makes me sad. I guess it's just how it is. There we go. Last stop on Route 9. Gracetown, Florida. I thought you said you wouldn't get lost, Kai said. Charlotte's teeth tightened to match the pressure of her hands on the rented Toyota steering wheel. They were already a half hour late to the luncheon after her grandmother's funeral in Tallahassee, a drive her navigator said should have taken an hour and 15 minutes, heading west on the I-10. She'd been doing fine until they got off the freeway and passed a collection of quaint shops on Main Street in the throwback town. But the last few turns had plunged them more deeply into the swampy woods bordering each side of the two-lane road. No cars were in sight, no houses, no anything. We're not lost, she said. Kai glared. Thin pines and oaks with branches draped in hanging moss choked the road, which the slate... Oh my gosh, my brain... I'm going to be stuttering a lot. I do apologize. Thin pines and oaks with branches draped in heavy moss choked the road, which the clay soil had ground red, as much dirt as asphalt. Mud from earlier rainfall was slick enough to splash the tires. The air conditioner was on full blast, but the sun burned her skin through her sleeveless black funeral dress. The burr of insects around them was loud enough to penetrate the closed windows. Her car sped past a derelict shack wrapped in weeds, its wooden walls gaping from missing planks. The rusted tin roof made Charlotte wonder if it had been a sharecropper's shack, or a relic from slavery. Charlotte's 12-year-old cousin could have joined his parents and aunts in the limousine after the burial, but since Charlotte had to drive anyway, because the stench wasn't as big as they had expected, the stretch wasn't as big as they had expected. She'd asked Kai to ride with her to escape the limousine's sadness, and he'd happily agreed. I only met her a couple times, he shrugged to Charlotte privately. Until now, he'd been bobbing his head to his earbuds, his face stoic beneath limp braids. His tie loosened the knot at the mid-chest. Like a noose, she couldn't help thinking. Oh, his tie was loosened with a knot mid-chest, and she thought it looked like a noose. Charlotte hated the South. Her mother had fled Florida at her first chance and never coming back to Gracetown after she'd gone to UCLA as a freshman, just like Kai's dad, her Uncle Harry, who had joined the army the day he graduated from high school. Uncle Harry loathed the town. He had spent 6 months in Gracetown's notorious reformatory when he was Kai's age. He'd blamed his parents for his imprisonment. It wasn't surprising that his son didn't feel much warmth for the recently buried Sadie Myrtle Jones Williams. Charlotte's parents had swapped Christmases between Oakland and Gracetown, but Uncle Harry's seat at the table had always sat empty. His 4 sisters had taken bets on whether he'd show up for the funeral, and he had, sobbing worse than the rest. I thought I had more time, he cried out in the church, though Grandmama had been 6 days shy of 80. Still, he had refused to set foot in Gracetown for a luncheon at the home of Grandmama's childhood friend. Kai was more a novelty than family to Charlotte. One reason she had been glad to give him a ride. She'd only seen the kids 3 or 4 times. The last time he'd only been 9. 12 was a different story. He was almost as tall as she was, and... Shit, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, Kai said. Hey, Charlotte said, watch that mouth. You're not a mom, you don't tell me what to do. She stared at him so long that she nearly veered off into one of the ditches that yawned open on either side of the road. He'd been so quiet until now that his sudden rebellion surprised her. Her voice was ice. "Don't start with me, baby boy. This is not the time." His tone softened. "I'm just saying. No one wants to be driving around in the middle of nowhere. Dang." He had a point, but although she was only 22, she felt obligated to sound parental. "Watch your mouth around me, or you can walk," she said, and threw in, "Here?" Grandmama had always said that. "Here?" Charlotte heard Grandmama's voice in her ear, sharp as a whip. Her throat pinched tight with a smothered sob. This awful day had no end in sight. Kai looked away towards the unbroken forest and its tangle of trees. "My dad got locked up here," Kai said. "He said that place was just a bunch of rednecks who hurt kids for fun. He said Gracetown is haunted as shit." His voice trembled. For the first time, Charlotte realized he was cursing because he was genuinely afraid. What kind of stories had Uncle Harry filled his son's head with? Grandmama had always said Uncle Harry should see a therapist, though she said it more like an insult than a recommendation. Her aunt said he'd never been the same before the reformatory. Maybe Grandmama had been in denial, because she hadn't fought harder to get him out. To hear Uncle Harry tell it, his parents' attitude had been, maybe it's a good wake-up call for him. Charlotte's mom had superstitions about ghosts too, but nothing like Uncle Harry's. "It was a long time ago," Charlotte said. "That place is closed now." "Whatever," Kai mumbled. But again, Kai was right. They were alone. Charlotte hadn't seen another car in 10 minutes, maybe longer. A thick fog bank sat across the road ahead like a wall, and Charlotte felt a strong urge to stop the car and turn around. She checked the navigator. Satellite unavailable. The map showed the dot of their car surrounded by a sea of nothing. She and Kai had given up on getting a cell phone signal as soon as they passed the county line. It never failed. Whenever one thing went wrong, everything else joined in chorus. She had her first car accident 2 years ago when she swerved to avoid hitting a dog on her way home from getting her wisdom teeth pulled. Today felt as cursed as that one. Worse. She just buried a grandmother she'd barely bothered to get to know, so both of her grandmothers were gone. She had much closer relationship with her father's more cosmopolitan mother in Oakland, who ran a bookstore and hadn't been nearly as hard to understand beneath a thick country accent and old-school rules. "Fuck," she said under her breath, and drove through the fog. It was so thick. She braced for the car to shudder, hardly breathing while all the windows went gray. "I can't see," Kai said. But as soon as he said it, they passed through to the hot sun again, everything in bright focus. Only then she allowed herself to ponder it. Fog in the middle of the day? During the summer? The oddness skittered around across her mind, but she shut down part of her that wanted to panic. Like Kai had said, whatever. Evidence of civilization emerged ahead, a small billboard nearly covered by trees with large red letters. "Last stop on Route 9. 1/2 mile. Gas? Food." All the paint was cracking invisible rivulets across the weathered woods. "Yes," Kai said, at the same time she'd been thinking, "Thank fucking goodness." She kept deities' names from mind to avoid blasphemy so close to where her grandmama had lived, as if grandmama might still hear her. Or maybe, just maybe, cussing alongside God's name really was a sin. "Listen," Charlotte began slowly, wondering if she'd been too harsh on Kai by threatening to make him walk. "Sounds like your dad said some stuff to you that's pretty confusing. And raw. Maybe he should have waited until you were older." "Dad said you're never too young to know the truth." Kai recited like a mantra. That sounded like Uncle Harry, all right. Every conversation was a speech, but he'd never told her about his time at Gracetown Reformatory. Not that she'd asked. "What did he say happened to him when he was locked up, Kai?" Kai parted his lips as if to answer, but changed his mind. He stared at the road ahead, eyes searching for the promised gas and food. Like her, he looked hungry enough to eat a wrinkled gas station hot dog. Ew. Or two. She'd been looking forward to the feast after the funeral. "Well, whatever it is," she went on, "it's not happening now. It won't happen to you. But if we get pulled over? What if I get locked up for no reason like him?" His voice's pitch grew higher with his agitation. And then... Who's gonna pull us over? A raccoon? She said. Nobody's out here, right? Kai surveyed the empty road and both sides of the thick wood and nodded, smiling a bit at her joke. Poor kid. Charlotte needed to talk with Uncle Harry and let him know to ease back on his Gracetown horror stories. Uncle Harry was the eldest of the siblings, and Kai was his son he'd had from his third marriage, late in life. He and his son were from two different worlds. When would Uncle Harry have been locked up? The late 60s? Black drivers in the South could just disappear in those days. Times weren't perfect, but they weren't still like that, at least. The gas station appeared, and Charlotte's stomach knotted. Shit. The building was an artifact, shuttered with planks across its windows. She could barely read the faded sign above the door. Handy Gas. It was an old-fashioned station with only two bright red pumps long out of service. Their hoses emptied on the ground like oversized snakes in a blanket of pine needles. What the hell? Kai said, exactly what she was thinking. As Charlotte slowed, hoping the gas station would morph into an AM/PM like convenience stores in California, she noticed a light in the woods to the left. A driveway from the road led to a second structure behind the gas station. A wood-paneled house, hardly bigger than a cabin. But a light was on behind sheer white curtains, and a vintage round hooded pickup truck was parked in the driveway. White paint also fading. Charlotte returned to the driveway at the last second, her car's tires skidding on mud. What are you doing? Kai said. There's a house. I'm gonna go knock on the door and ask for directions. That's crazy, Kai said. Haven't you ever seen Deliverance? Again, Charlotte looked at him with surprise. She'd seen the film once in college, and once was enough. The banjo theme played in her head, cryptic. Your father let you watch. He says Gracetown is like Deliverance. I've never seen it. Don't want to, either. Kai, stop freaking yourself out. Just stay in the car. Charlotte rarely missed a hashtag, so she knew what sometimes happened when black people knocked on strangers' doors, only to be met by gunfire. She still remembered a black woman's name, Renisha McBride. And there were others. But she also wasn't going to let fear rule her life. It was broad daylight. She was lost. She was dressed for church. She would be fine. Charlotte didn't want to block the cabin's driveway, so she veered slightly to the right of it, a few yards from the house's door, parking beneath an oak tree that looked a century old. Something crunched beneath her tires, the sound of bad news. Damn it! Had she damaged the car? She turned off the engine, and the insect's songs grew louder. As Charlotte opened her car door, Kai grabbed her wrist. Wait! Don't you feel it? Feel what, sweetie? He stared at her in earnest, trying to choose words. His grip was a vice. It feels mad. Like everything is pissed off. When she squinted, trying to make sense of what he said, Kai sighed and let her go. I can't explain. My dad says you can't always explain. Lock up behind me. I'll be right back. When Charlotte closed her car door behind her, Kai hit the electric lock right away. The humidity felt soupy. Her armpits pricked with sweat as soon as she stepped outside. In a way, maybe the air did feel pissed off. She wanted to laugh at Kai, but she couldn't. And it was smart to leave Kai in the car, she remembered. He was a black male, too tall to be considered cute by many strangers. Instead, he looked like the national boogeyman since the birth of the nation and before. Kai was wearing a dress shirt and tie, but still. Charlotte glanced at the gas station behind them. Someone had made a junkyard of the station's sidewall, not as visible from the street. Rusted old cars, discarded gas cans, and an old road sign advertising Fatima's cigarettes, which he had never heard of. Maybe this was what Kai had meant too. These items were pissed off because they were old and forgotten, like she had so often forgotten Grandmama. Music was playing faintly from the house. Elvis? It was impossible to mistake the voice, but the music was gospel, not rock and roll. She recognized the song. Peace in the Valley, from the handful of times she'd attended a church with Grandmama at Christmas. Charlotte did not go to the little house's sagging front porch right away as she planned. She stared, thinking it over. The plants on the porch, even in the hanging basket, were dead. Only a screen door was closed across the doorway. But despite the light she thought she'd seen from the road, the house was dark now. It was hard to imagine that light had ever shone from this house, much less than a moment before. A hidden hinge squealed lazily back and forth at the edge of the wood awning. She saw the chain from a ruined porch swing rocking in the mild breeze. Somewhere behind the house, a dog was barking. It might not be big, but it wasn't small. Maybe it was on a chain, maybe it wasn't. Then Charlotte noticed the Confederate flag on the bumper sticker on the oversized truck parked near the porch. Nope, get out of there, get out of there. The words printed behind had faded, but the crossed blue stripes and white stars still showed. Charlotte's heart thumped at her breastbone. She'd known a girl at UCLA who defended the flag as heritage, and insisted it wasn't racist, despite the way racists loved it. Now Kai's words came back. Everything's pissed off. How hadn't she noticed right away? None of it felt right. Instead of stepping towards the house, Charlotte stepped away. She looked back at Kai, and he was watching her wide-eyed, his nose pressed to the window on the driver's side. She gestured towards the house dismissively. Never mind. He nodded, agreeing wholeheartedly. He motioned for her to come back. Charlotte walked back towards the car, but then she remembered the crunching sound when she parked. It would drive her crazy to wonder if she'd damaged a tire, so she leaned to take a peek. Her left front tire had knocked over a mound of large, sharp-edged stones alongside a silver cross, tarnished black. Shit. She kicked the closest tire for firmness to make sure it wasn't punctured, then knelt to see if the stones had left any marks on the bumper the rental guy in Tallahassee would notice. The car was fine, but broken glass was scattered across the soil from a cracked picture frame near the cross. She picked up the frame and saw a decades-old photo she could barely make out. The image splotched by rain and time. Vaguely, she could make out a white man's long gray beard. Desecration! A woman's voice screeched from somewhere. From everywhere. Charlotte dropped the photo frame, gasping. She was so startled she had to hold the car's warm hood for balance, her neck yanking around too hard to see who had spoken. A woman was standing behind the house's screen door, features hidden by the mesh. All Charlotte could make out was a powder blue house dress, maybe a floral pattern. Her face was in shadow. Desecration. Had she damaged a memorial site, or even a grave? The word charged Charlotte's thoughts, so violent it felt imposed. Desecration. The insects, buzzing, seemed to flurry between her ears rather than beyond them. Kai was thumping on his window. "Let's go!" she heard him call, muffled through the thick buzzing. Unsteady with fright, Charlotte stumbled back towards her car door. She tried to raise her voice so the woman could hear her apology. "I'm so sorry. I won't disturb you." She raised her hand slightly in case the woman was armed. She expected a gunshot. Although the woman's features were fuzzy, Charlotte thought she saw her mouth and jaw open into an impossibly long O, stretched beyond the boundaries of where her face should be. The woman let out a shriek too loud to be human. The sound echoed through the woods, rattling the metal and glass in the gas station's debris. Birds flocked from the treetops, shrieking and calling in response. The unseen dog barked in a frenzy. Charlotte's limbs locked, her mind emptied of thought. Then came an eerie, sudden silence. All sounds stripped, even the dogs. Charlotte's hand fumbled with the door handle 2-3 times before she remembered the car was locked. She slapped the window. "Let me in," she tried to say, but her mouth was parched mute. The click from the car door came at last, breaking the unnatural quiet, and Charlotte rushed into her seat, banging her knee hard against the steering wheel, in her rush. Hey soul, welcome in. Hope you're having a lovely day today. Just hanging out, we're reading the story, though this story isn't actually very, chill or lifting of the spirits. It's a little spooky, but I think that's okay. close a couple things, because it looks like, I don't know, it looks like stream went a little funny there for a moment. I hope everything's okay. I see. How are you liking it so far, though? Oh, I mean, what I'm reading right now, this is a short story. It's called Last Stop on Route 9. Basically, just after a funeral, this family, this woman, Charlotte, is giving her cousin a ride. Not her cousin, her nephew? I actually don't remember how they're related, but they're related. He's like a teen, and they got lost, and they were stopped at this like old broken down gas station in the south, and they are black, and so it's getting a little spooky. They accidentally ran over what looks like a memorial, and this like woman came out and started screaming at them like desecration, and I don't know, it's fucking creepy. Banging her knee hard against the steering wheel in her rush. Kai was sitting on the passenger side floor, his face wet with tears. Kai was sitting on the... Oh, I already read that. After he pulled his hand away from the electric lock, he rocked himself like a toddler, arms wrapped around his knees. "It's okay," she said absurdly. She was lying to both of them. Just go, just go, just go. Her thumping heart had learned language, preaching to her. When she turned the key, she expected the ignition to ignore her. A waiting tide of grief and terror she didn't know how she could withstand. But the engine roared to fiery life. "That's a great car, that one," the rental guy had said. Memory of his gaudy yellow blazer was her mind's anchor to the world she knew. Charlotte yanked the car into reverse and swerved so far she almost hit the truck before she shifted to plow back towards the road. Her heart was thunder. How had Kai known to keep away from this house on sight? How had he sensed the rage boiling just behind that screen door? She made a frantic turn to the road, back towards the fog, the way they'd come, the only way she knew. So sharply that one of the tires plunged halfway into the roadside ditch, but she quickly righted it. Mud sprayed the underside of the car before the car was back on solid ground. "What was that?" Kai said, pleading for an answer. Charlotte could only shake her head. Her existence had shrunk to her beating heart. Its rhythm pulsing to her hands tight on the steering wheel, and her foot pressing the gas pedal with all her strength. Since the too loud screeching, her muscles felt drained, emptied out. The radio came on with pops and squeals. Charlotte glanced at the glowing dial, hoping to see Kai's hand near it, but he was still hugging himself tight. He stared at the radio too, then back at her with the same plea in his teary eyes. His jaw trembled. I want to go home," Kai whimpered. The radio answered him with the same woman's reedy, tremolo voice, filling the car's front and rear speakers. "The desecration is you! I curse you both to hell! I curse your parents! I curse your tar black babies!" Oh God! Oh my God! Horrifying. Frantic to banish her voice, Charlotte looked away from the road to the radio dial. She jammed at the power button with the heel of her palm. Once, twice, 3 times, until the terrible voice was gone. By then, Kai was sobbing. It's okay," she started to say, but it wasn't. As soon as Charlotte looked back to the road, the sun-reddened white man with a pea-green hunting jacket and unkempt gray beard appeared in her windshield. He hadn't walked there. He wasn't standing there. He simply was. She only had time to scream and jam on her brakes so hard that the car skewed sideways after the horrible thunk sound beneath her floorboard. She felt the unmistakable bump of rolling over a mass on the road. The car shook from end to end, flinging Kai so much he hit his head on the glove compartment as his arms flailed to hold on to something. The car lurched to a stop as if it had been yanked by invisible wires. Kai was wailing more loudly than she was, but not by much. In the long aftermath, with nothing moving, Charlotte stopped yelling as her thoughts unscrambled. The yellow blazer. She had to get back to the rental guy in the yellow blazer. And Kai was her cousin. Alright, so it was, yes, her cousin. And if she let anything happen to him, the family would tell the story for generations. She'd be reliving this day on her deathbed in a loop, the way Grandma Bernadine couldn't stop talking about a lightning storm that had set her rooftop and poured a prince on fire when she was a child. The fire that had killed her baby sister. "Are you okay?" Charlotte whispered. She didn't know why she was whispering, but she was sure whispering was the right thing to do, even if it wasn't nearly enough. She needed to do far more. Kai shook his head no, his braids whipping his face. "We hit someone, Kai." A sure firmness in her voice surprised her. "We didn't!" Kai screamed at her. "Someone hit us!" "Kai, calm down. Breathe." He did, taking heavy breaths taking heavy breaths that began to fog the car's window. Charlotte wiped away the condensation with a crumpled napkin she snatched from the cup holder. Oh my gosh. Why do I keep having little drops to my stream? What's even going on? We're not even playing a game. We're just sitting here. She didn't want any blind spots. Outside the windows, the stillness was unnerving. She waited for the man she'd run over to pop up and try to scare the actual life out of him, but he didn't come. Nothing moved. "I know something is messed up, all right?" Charlotte told Kai, and he nodded, his eyes flooding with grateful tears that he didn't have to shoulder reality alone. "I can't explain what happened back at that house. We ran over a man with a car. I ran over a man. I had to check up on him. That's the law, Kai. You can't leave an old man in the road." Kai's gratitude vanished, replaced by bitter fright. "You still don't get it!" "I need you to stay in the car. Don't leave me! You better not leave me!" "And I'm going to check on him, see if he's alive." "Alive? Alive doesn't just... Breathe, Kai. Breathe. Or you'll pass out. I'm serious. Look at my eyes and breathe." She held out her hand and he took it and squeezed hard. He forced himself to breathe more slowly, keeping his eyes fixed on hers, desperate to believe in her. Still, nothing moved outside. No corpse popped up like a jack-in-the-box. In the quiet, it was easier to forget the woman's unnaturally loud screech at the house and worry more about the dead man who lay beneath her car. Never mind going to law school one day after her break from classroom, she'd go to prison for manslaughter. She and Kai both had been so shocked by the sight of the man that they'd fooled their eyes, making him a phantom. I probably killed someone. Her stomach curdled at the thought. If she had food in the past few hours, she would have spit it up. "Put on your big girl panties," Grandmama used to say. Somehow, Charlotte navigated the lock and door handle with hands like jelly. She eased the door open and touched the foot to the road, pressed hard to feel its solidness. She prayed as hard as she knew how that the man was all right. When she stood, adrenaline cascaded down her limbs. I'm curious about how long this is. Alright, couple pages. At least no limbs protruded from the bottom of the car as she'd feared, like Dorothy killing the Wicked Witch with her house. Both the front and rear tires were flat on the driver's side. The rubber clawed at the strips. The sick feeling in her stomach turned rigid, twisting. Were the other tires flat too? They wouldn't get far with only 2 flats. She was afraid to check right away and learn that they were stranded. Charlotte lowered herself to her knees to peek beneath the car, expecting to see the pea-green jacket. But no man was under the car. Only a scattered pile of large, sharp stones like the one under the tree. Back at the house, at the makeshift gravesite, Charlotte drew in a long breath, sucking in air. The road seemed to shake with her heartbeat. "I can't see you!" Kai shouted. Charlotte pulled herself to her feet, looking away from the impossible sight, but not before she noticed the other 2 tires had also been ravaged by the stones, rims shining through. Damn, damn, damn! As she straightened up, Charlotte's mind tried to make sense of it. Had the car sent him flying into a ditch? She hadn't seen any stones in the road, but she looked away at the radio. That many stones hadn't appeared from nowhere. Had they? There's no one under there, she called to Kai. I told you, he said. He wasn't surprised at all. He knew. Come back in. I have to see if he got thrown. Kai thumped his fist against the window, so scared and frustrated she thought he might break the glass or his hand, or both. Just come back. Stop that, Kai. I'll be right there. He could be only injured. She said it, although she didn't believe it. She wouldn't find a man sprawled in the ditch, and if she did, he would be dead. But she had to be sure she wasn't in denial, trading an evening news brand of horror for something else. The police would ask if she had looked, and he might be there, nearly hurt or unconscious. He might. But no one was in the ditch on either side. While Kai kept thumping the window, she walked up and down in her clicking heels, looking for the man's coat, or his beard, or blood. Beyond the drainage ditch, she saw nothing but untended woods growing wild. She felt a vibration shiver beneath her feet and held her breath until the trembly sensation was gone. Kai honked the horn, pressing it for a long, unbroken tone. It sounded like sacrilege. She waved back at him. Shh! Don't do that! Kai was pointing towards the road behind her. Look! A car was coming from the direction they had just left, taking its sweet time. Not a car, she realized as she stared. A truck. A white truck with its oversized hood and cab, like the one parked at the house. Somewhere in the woods, the dog was barking. A dog was barking. The radio's on again, Kai yelled, panicked. She heard Elvis sing reverently about no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble, no pain. The volume too loud inside the car, Kai was covering his ears. Charlotte! Charlotte ran to the car. Each time she glanced back at the truck over her shoulder. It had gained an alarming distance. There might be both a driver and a passenger in the cab. She had to grab Kai and pop the trunk to see if she could find a weapon. Maybe she'd find a tire iron. We have to run, Charlotte said, breathless. She reached for the door's handle the instant after she heard the click of the locks, too late. But Kai's hands were still plugging his ears. He hadn't locked the doors, but the door wouldn't budge. Kai, unlock the door! She could see for herself that he was trying, reaching across to the driver's door, pushing every button he could. Panic had dried his tears. It won't open, he said. Get me out! Charlotte kneeled to find the biggest stone she could, one just beyond the mangled front tire. It weighed at least 5 pounds. Get in the back seat in the ball. Hurry. Cover your eyes. As she raised the stone high, she glanced back at the truck. It was close now, that if it sped up, they would have no time to outrun it. She could see that the driver was a woman by the outline of her frizzy hair. The truck rambled on at its slow, steady speed. Charlotte heaved the stone at the windshield with all her strength. A thin line of crack appeared, but the glass didn't break. The second time she hit it, the stone made a spiderweb in the glass that would not yield. Instead, the stone broke in two. Charlotte let out a frustrated yell, searching for another stone. Through the side window, I'll fit, Kai said. He was watching the truck's approach and knew she didn't have time to keep trying. None of the stones remaining under the car were as big as the first, but she found a slightly smaller one that she smashed into the driver's side window while she clung to it with her bare hand. The glass shattered, falling away, but not enough. She and Kai were still batting at the remaining glass when they heard the guttural engine's purr as the truck pulled up beside him, crushing smaller stones beneath it. She could not leave Kai. She reached for him as he squeezed himself through the jagged exit. A fixed glass shard dug into his shoulder, leaving flecks of blood on his white dress shirt. 2 women laughed from the truck. The laughter chilled Charlotte and tried to make her run, but she held on to Kai while he tried to pull his leg through. She glanced at the driver's side, sitting high in the cab, and saw a black woman with honeyed skin and spiky plates. Beside her was a white woman in wild auburn hair and a young woman who did not look like the one she had seen through the screen door. Both women grinning at them with badly yellowed teeth. I hope you're not fixing to run. You're not fixing to run, I hope, the black woman said. Don't you hear the dogs? Charlotte did hear the dogs then, a chorus of barking from the woods. 24 or more dogs might be waiting in the brush. Kai tried to run away, but Charlotte held him back with her arms hooked around his neck. "Dogs," she whispered. "I don't care," he said, wriggling like a fish against her grip. "We're not the ones you ought to be afraid of," the black woman said. She tapped her horn, and Kai went limp at the strangled sound. "Hey, look at me! I said you don't need to be afraid of us. Aunt Sally's the one who hexed you." "Meanest woman who ever lived or died, that's Aunt Sally for you," White woman said. She was fanning herself with a Life magazine. "By the way, I'm Rose, that's Melindy." I was named from a poem," the black woman said with pride. "My mama liked it." Charlotte didn't answer. She couldn't stop blinking to test if the woman were real. "I'm sick to death," the white woman, Rose, said. "Sick of Aunt Sally hexing and swallowing folks up in the ground. Then they're gone and their kin never know where they went. I say people are people. That's what I say. Just look at us. Oh, she hates our cousins." "Just leave us alone," Charlotte said, finding her voice. She was too afraid to move, all while the women chatted. The truck idled, ready to run her and Kai over with the slightest lunge. "Just, please, go back where you came from." "Where are you headed? Into that fog?" Melindy said. Charlotte nodded, hating herself for trusting this stranger with the truth. Far worse than a stranger. Only because her skin color felt like a promise. That's the way you better go, all right," Melindy said, approving. "But she'll swallow you up on the road," Rose said. "See?" Rose pointed towards the Charlotte's feet. The asphalt beneath her black pumps had crumbled since she had seen it last, as if she were forcing a great weight upon it. A gap near her big toe was already 2 inches across. Startled, Charlotte stepped back. More ruptures webbed the road. "That just gets worse and worse till it swallows you whole," Rose said. "And the woods, they ain't no better," Melindy said, and she pointed too. At the tree line, a large brown dog, as big as a wolf, stood with its front legs perched on a log, watching them. The sight of the beast was worse fear at a distance than the truck up close. She'll set dogs on anybody black. Old, young, woman, child, makes her no mind. All this fuss ain't over, Johnny," Melindy said, and cackled to herself. "He shot himself clean in this shotgun, dumb as the day is long. Sally just loves chasing, coloreds. Still mad 'cause Johnny was my papa in secret. Everyone knew it but her. I call her Aunt Sally 'cause I don't have another name for her." "Uncle Johnny was better than some," Rose told Melindy. "I think she still loved him in a way, but wouldn't she have shot him herself?" They spoke to each other as if they were alone. The dogs at the roadside growled, stepping tentatively closer. Kai tried to lunge away again, but Charlotte held on. A dog that size would maul him to death, and there were others. The women remembered them again. "Way we see it," Melindy said. "Y'all better hop in the back of the truck," Rose finished. "We can drive you back to the edge of the fog. We can't drive through it, though. But we can get you that far." "What are you doing out here, by the way, anyways?" Melindy said. "No one takes Route 9 unless they want to get lost." "Real lost," Rose said and giggled. "We drove right over Johnny's grave," Melindy said to Rose, and they laughed again. "This one here did everything but Lindy hop over his bones." Their chatter and the impossible choices made Charlotte dizzy. A low cracking rumbled beneath her, and a 2-inch gap in the asphalt widened to half a foot. Kai whimpered and stepping away. The dog barked again, more insistent. "Let's go with them," Kai whispered. Charlotte looked at him, surprised. The same thought had been teasing her, but she wasn't sure. She'd been sure he wouldn't dare. He looked calmer than he'd been since before they passed through the fog. "Do you feel something? Like at the house?" "Oh my gosh, you told me to take a sip?" "Okay. I'm gonna go grab my water cup. It's in the other room. I'll be right back." "Thank you, Soul, for reminding me." "Ah, yes, and here comes the boy." Speaking of the boy, here. Here comes the boy, the little boy. Welcome. A boy! Dang, Banksy, looking fabulous, Strixon. Baby, are you me? Or are you me, Banksy? I'm me. Sip. Water has been consumed. So the rite is complete. Okay. Alright, here we are. Ah yes, Strixon is hydrated. It's very important, especially with how hot it is. His eyes fervent, Kai nodded. Yes, let's go. He was right, she was sure of it. No matter how much she hated the idea, she wasn't close to understanding why. The truck was their best chance. Charlotte grabbed Kai's hand and they ran together. They both climbed into the truck's bed with a leap, and the vintage vehicle sped forward as they were still pulling their legs into the prickly bed of pine cones, painfully against her bare legs and palms. I'm gonna be lurking as I do need to do an errand. Understandable. But I'll be giving you a view. Thank you so much, Soul. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful time doing your errands, and I'll be here. Probably gonna, yeah, we only have a couple pages left. It was gonna be a short stream today. Wednesday will be a longer stream, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I'll probably end stream soon, so I also have some time to rest before I have to go see my friends. Anyways. Alright, Charlotte grabbed Kai's hand and they ran together. They both climbed into the truck's bed with a leap, and the vintage vehicle sped forward as they were still pulling their legs into the prickly bed of pine cones, painful against her bare legs and palms. The truck was moving faster now than it had on its approach, pitching them against each other until they held onto the rusted sides, where the paint flaked off beneath her sweating palms. Dogs chased the truck, pouring onto the road from the woods. German shepherds, hounds, and oversized creatures that looked half-wolf chased the truck with all their might, barking their loathing as spittle flew between their teeth. Only 5 or 6 were close enough for her to see their glowing eyes, but a dozen more trailed farther behind, yet more peering from the woods. Some of the dogs stumbled into the widening gaps in the road. Wherever the truck drove, the road gave way beneath it, trying its best to eat them. The woman in front laughed while the truck swerved through the gaps and cracks, as if they had never had such a merry time. Charlotte was staring at the dogs, so she didn't see the fog bank until they were in the heart of it, breathed in the gray-white mist. The truck stopped on whining brakes. The house was only half a mile from the fog, she remembered. Only half a mile, yet so much farther. Can't take you past here, Melindy said, calling behind her. Keep ahead of those dogs. They're all her, all mean, just like her. Charlotte didn't need to hear any more. She grabbed Kai's hand, and again they both climbed out. She had lost her shoes somewhere in her terror. Her stocking foot slipped on the chrome bumper. She barely felt her knee and elbow scrape when she fell. The barking was still behind them, enraged and determined. Still clinging to Kai's hand, Charlotte ran barefoot onto the soupy gray. With her first 3 steps, the fog was gone, and so was the barking, or the sound of laughter. When she turned the other way, the fog was gone too. She had known it would be. Some part of her had always known the fog wasn't real in the way her skin and beating heart were real. The fog wasn't as real as her memory of everything that had happened on the road. A modern gas station and convenience store waited within easy walking distance, 100 yards ahead, with a large sign on a highway pole. She knew they had driven past no such place, but that didn't matter. It was there now. She looked at the highway sign as they walked towards the gas station, which of course said Highway 46 instead of Route 9. She had asked someone at the gas station ahead, and they would tell her there hadn't been a Route 9 in Gracetown as long as anyone could remember. Maybe as far back as the 60s or the 50s. Maybe long before then. She was certain of it. She had left her car beyond the fog. She would have to explain that somehow. We'll say we got carjacked, Charlotte said. when we asked a guy for directions. Kai nodded. The guy with the beard. We'll say it was him. And it's true. Charlotte tried to remember if she'd bought rental car insurance. She thought about her purse and cell phone she'd left behind. All gone. And she wondered how long this family had been in the land of the dead. How long Aunt Sally had stood hidden behind her screen door, ready to vent her hatred. I'm telling my dad, Kai said, but just him. Charlotte was trying to sort through it all without feeling dizzy again. Tell him what? He won't believe you. Yeah, he will, Kai said, sure of it. They walked in silence for a moment, then he said, I'm never going to another funeral. But he would, she knew. They both would. Their grandparents were gone now, but they would bury their parents next, and all their stories and secrets. Charlotte stared at their feet walking together on the unbroken road. Hers bare, still pedicured with black shoes, his with black shoes still shiny. This road felt no more real than the cracking one they had fled, and the only evidence of their shared ordeal was their breathing, still too hard and fast. Kai's father must have felt this way when he was released from the reformatory. He gathered stories in that place that even his parents would never fully grasp. A wall of fog between him and the world, hoping the nightmares wouldn't last. But they had. Now his son would have them too. But at least Kai had his father and someone to tell. Charlotte vowed she would never go to Gracetown again. The end. Was that story, friends? Thanks for reading it with me. I think that was a lovely way to end stream. It was for sure spooky. I am so thankful it has a happy ending. She's fucked. She's gonna have to like figure out what to do with that rented car, and she doesn't have her phone anymore. But she's alive, and that's always the most important thing. It looks like stream's being really funny today, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I'm so happy we made a new flower crown, which I'm kind of tempted to try to like make it like flatter by like squishing it under some books. I don't know if that's gonna help, but it might. We never know. But until then, my friends, I'm Strixon. This is my blanket fort. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!